Hello and welcome, I'm Stormo, and I thought we'd do something a little bit different because I bought some time for Final Fantasy XIV, and I thought what I would do is create a new character, not the character I created last night as an experiment either. Create a new character and log in and show off the first moments of this game plus the character creator. So we'll make a new character, we'll play on this server. And main reason I'm doing this is because maybe I'll make a series out of this, because Final Fantasy XIV actually has a lot of story content, and aside from being an MMO, which it is, there's actually a lot of solo story content to get through in this game, and it's really interesting the way it presents that. I'm not sure how many videos of this game I'm going to end up doing. I'm not going to make any promises about this being an ongoing series even. I just thought I'd put together a video right now so that we can see what we can do. Anyway, let's start off with the character creation process, and you'll notice there's a whole bunch of races, one of which is grayed out. You can see the aura there. I don't have the Heavenswood expansion yet. I may end up purchasing it at some point, but yeah, I'm not planning to do that. So let's look at the races. So there's the Hua, which are the humans, basically. This is like your bog standard humans. So it's a male Hua, and then there are, of course, female Hua as well. So these are kind of your bog standard Final Fantasy humans. And yeah, that's pretty much what they are. Then you have the Elezen, who are the elves. Male and female versions of those. And they're pretty cool. I don't think I've ever actually made an Elezen character, for reasons which will become very clear very shortly. But yeah, I don't think I've ever made an Elezen. So that's a male and this the female Elezen. And yeah, they're basically taller. And yeah, they're essentially elves. I mean, you can tell by the name. And then we have the Lalafell. The Lalafell are the tiny child people of Final Fantasy XIV. And you can probably tell that, yeah. Don't let them. They're not like gnomes in World of Warcraft, where they're generally a comic relief race. I mean, they are in a lot of ways, but unlike, say, the gnomes in World of Warcraft, the Lalafell actually have more respect from the other races, I think, is the best way to say that. And then there is the race that we're probably going to play as, which is, of course, the Makot. So the Makot are cat people. As evidenced by the tail and the cat ears. And this is the race that basically everyone plays, because let's face it, when you have the option of being a cat girl, you're going to be a cat girl. And that's pretty much the plan. There's also the Rogadin, actually, who are pretty cool. This is the Rogadin. They're huge people. You can see how much, like, compare that to the Makot. And these are all in scale, by the way. So you can sort of get a sense. The Rogadin are huge. I may be mispronouncing some of these race names too, but anyway, that's a Rogadin, and that's a female Rogadin. And there's something interesting about the Makot and the Rogadin. The version of Final Fantasy XIV that we're playing now, and the version that pretty much everyone will be playing because it's the only version you can play now, is called A Realm Reborn. In fact, it's called Heavenswood now because they released Heavenswood. But the story behind Final Fantasy XIV, I can't show off the aura because I don't have Heavenswood installed, so otherwise I would, but we are actually going to go Makot. Anyway, as I was saying, the Final Fantasy XIV originally launched in 2010 and was so terrible and in such a bad state that Square Enix didn't charge subscription fees for it for the first year and a bit. They ended up taking the game offline and completely overhauling it, and making it much more playable and much more fun. I'm just showing off the different environments you can do the character creation in, so you sort of have the default and all that kind of stuff there, so that's why I was clicking around. And everyone has unique poses as well. But yeah, so you have this much more interesting and much better version of the game than what came out all those years ago. And I'll talk more about that once we get through character creation, because I think it's really interesting. But the point I was trying to make by explaining that was that in the original version of Final Fantasy, there were no male Makot characters and there were no female Rogadin options. They were added in A Realm Reborn. Anyway, so this is the Makote race. Now, all the races actually have this really interesting thing where there's basically two sort of clans. The clans give you a set of different appearance options. So you have Seekers of the Sun and Keepers of the Moon here, and you sort of see the darker skin that the Keepers of the Moon have versus the Seekers of the Sun. They also have slightly different hair and eye color options. I think the main difference actually is that for Makote, especially, the Keepers of the Moon have round pupils, is the one difference I've noticed. It's really probably hard to tell on this video, but that's kind of the one thing I've noticed. We're going to go Seekers of the Sun for this character, and now we get to the very detailed creation process. It's not as involved as, say, Black Desert Online, which is just crazy with its options for character creation, but it is still reasonably impressive. And like I say, you've got all these environment options. So this gives you a sort of neutral environment to look at, but in general, if you want to see how the character's going to look in the world, it's better to use one of these backgrounds here. So for example, we're going to be starting, because I'm going to pick a particular class to start with, we're probably going to be starting in the Gridania area, which is what this background represents. Each one of these sort of represents the three mains. So this is the, I forget the name of it. I was going to say Uldar area, but Uldar is just the name of the city you can see in the background there. And then there's... Oh yeah, this is, yeah, in a Gridanian residence, yeah. Thanalan, that's what I was looking for. Or the Black Shroud, which is the area around Gridania. Or Ladnoskia, which is the coastline area. And your starting area is based on the class you choose, the starting class you choose, not on the race. So, but we'll get to that. Let's one really nice thing about this height selector is it actually, I don't know how I'll just bring it around so it's a bit easier to see there. But you can see that it gives you an approximation of how tall. So a maximum height Makote is about 162. I'm going to make her a little bit shorter than that. I'll say 160. But we will have a tall, but by the standards of Makote, we'll have a tall Makote. And of course, being Makote, we have bust size. And of course, we can go quite, not really large. You can go bigger on the human race, I think. But let's keep it about average. Makote apparently don't get large busts. Skin color, have a lot of options here, and the game instantly previews everything. It's the character creator, while it's not as flexible as something like Black Desert Online, it does do one thing very well, which is it stops you from making anything particularly hideous with it. If you're like one of those people like Badjo from Good Game or something like that, who likes to make really hideous looking characters, this isn't going to let you do that easily. I'm sure you can find a way, but yeah. That looks like a nice neutral skin color. One cool thing about the skin colors is that if you pick them, yeah, they can go like that, so... but that looks nice to me. Tail shape. I've experimented with all the tail shapes for the Makote, and there's only one choice, and it's this choice, because it has the spiky bit at the end. The club, I guess, is the way to call it. So that's what we're going with there. Tail length, you can have a short tail, so it can be that short, or it can be that long. We'll have a slightly not quite as long tail. That seems alright. Hair. There are lots of hairstyles, and they're all pretty cool. It, again, is pretty hard to pick a bad hairstyle. You don't get any options for hair length or anything like that, though. This is the spiky hairstyle we start off with, the crazy sort of spikes. One of my other Makote characters actually uses this haircut with the headband, but the problem with the headband is that you can't customize it. I think you can change its color. One of the other options does let you change its color, I think. But yeah, in general, hair pieces don't let you change color. Let's see, what can we go here? So we've got that hair, we've got that hair, that. We've got the Chobits hair. That. And yeah, there's a lot of hair options. That's really nice. With the hair sort of, apparently just sort of exploding out of the back of the head though. Got the long, spiky hair, short ponytailed hair, and of course this all plays in. I often find choosing a haircut is the most important thing in an MMO, or in any game where you get to customize your character, because the hair frames the face, and by framing the face, it creates the look that the rest of the face fits into. So, picking the right haircut, oh yeah, there's this one. which is hilarious. We're not going with that. Picking the right haircut is, I think, the most important. I do like that one. We'll see. Actually, you know, I really maybe don't like that one. But one thing this game does that bugs me is I always feel you should be able to pick the hair color first. And we have a lot of different hair color options here. So we can have black, or we can have white. And you'll notice too that the hair color affects the color of the tail and the ears. So we can have like spiky black hair. That looks alright. We continue the fire. There's no good fiery red color. Like, to me, the red hair options aren't that great in this game. Some games have really good red hair options. And I find red hair is sort of the determining factor about how good a game's hair options are. Because if you get the because red hair, I don't know what it is, but red hair seems to be the hardest. Oh, you can have different highlight colors too. So, for example, I can have like a black, but with funky red highlights or something like that as well. So you can do something like this, or you could have red. So you go red and have black highlights if I wanted, or you know, blue, green. Some of them look a bit odd doing that, but in general, it's kind of cool. Make it look like she's got grey hair, like little flecks of grey, salt and pepper style. But I think we're actually just going to go a uniform solid hair color for this character. I could go green. You could go these outlandish colors. I tend not to go outlandish colors. Personally, it's just my thing. We'd have a blonde. That's a nice blonde. What's that? That looks nice, sandy blonde. Doesn't quite work with the skin color though. I think we'll go black. I like the black on her actually, so we'll go with the black hair. Have different face options too. It's randomly picked one for us. So for this race, the face options determine these markings on the side, the dark brown markings you can see on the side as well. So if we want Diva style markings, we can have those. Diva style. Pop cultural osmosis. We can have that. I'm going to go with... Oh, not that. I'm going to go without the facial marks. I think she looks nicer like that. We can change the way the lips look, so don't panic. There's also jaw, which just determines just how much of a jut you get in the chin there. It doesn't make a huge difference, as you can tell, but we'll go with type 2 just because... Not for any reason, just because it's not type 1. Eye shape. So this just determines the... Yeah, you understand. Type 3 looked nice. We'll go with that. I've got to change the iris size and eye color. So there are 2 iris sizes. You can see there, large, small. I'll stay with large. And color. What do I want as a color? You have black. I really like actually with the eye coloring here that it doesn't it's not the same as the pupil coloring. So even a black eye is visible. Black eye coloring is visible. I tend to like blue or green eyes. That's nice. Might give this character, let's say, give her reddish eyes. Purple. How about we go something... I tend to like have my characters look realistic in the sense that they don't have outlandish, impossible eye colors or anything like that. Like, they look like they could exist. I'll give her... maybe that's a bit too dark. Yeah, we'll give her those blue eyes. That looks nice. Eyebrows. This is just how plucked you want your eyebrows. We'll go with type 4 because it doesn't look terrible. Nose. Again, there's the options for nose. Or a cute little button nose, or we could give her that kind of nose. That's nice. We'll go... what about that? Yeah, we'll go with that. That looks alright. Mouth. Again, I said before, we can change the mouth type, so we don't have to put up with the way it looked. And this actually becomes important because there's a lot of character animations in this game. Lip color, we can actually have this on, light, or none. So it's currently on none, and basically determines, yeah, the lipstick, essentially. We're actually going to go with none, because I don't like lipstick. I don't know why. Like, I don't have a problem with it in real life, but when I'm making a character in game, I always try to turn it off if I can. One thing that always bothers me about Destiny's character creator is the fact that you kind of can't really turn it off, and you have to try and match the color. Oh yeah, these are your facial markings, basically. So you can have thick, bushy eyebrows, just regular eyebrows. Have a beauty spot that you can't see because it's under our hair. You have a scar. Have another scar or another scar. We're not going to worry about any of those. We are going to get rid of that. We have the options for face tattoos. So you can see the white under our eyes. We'll lose those. There are more tattoo options, aren't there? Oh no, I'm thinking of the face paint. That's right, there's also a face paint, so we don't need that. The face paint is basically, yeah, you can have blush stickers. Butterflies. It's all very anime, all of this stuff. There is an option, yeah, there are eyeshadow options for this though too, so, or if you want like a cheek blush effect, you can have that. We're going to go with none though on ours. And voices, we get to choose a whole bunch of different voices. So I'll just pull back a little bit, and you get to see here a little bit how expressive the characters are. And this is one of my favourite things about this game, is that your character, whatever you create, is expressive. You have these three, which are like anime types. And then you have these ones, which aren't as anime, which, you know, they sound alright, I guess. So, we'll see. Yeah. Yeah. So you can sort of tell what each one is. We'll go with type 3. I think it's the one I mostly choose pretty much every time. So we'll confirm all of that, and we'll confirm that. We won't save the appearance data. So you now get to choose your character's birthday based on astral, umbral, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. These actually do end up corresponding to days of the year in a slightly roundabout way. I don't think they have any real effect other than being able to set what birthday you have in real life if you want to do that. I won't choose my actual real life birthday for this. But yeah, we might go, let's give her, I'm in the southern hemisphere, so like summer is like this part of the year there. I like the idea of being a summer baby. We'll go first umbral, and let's pick a nice round number. Let's be born on the 32nd of February, because every month has 32 days for some reason. I think that's, I don't think every month does, but most months, yeah, no, most months actually are 32nd. Let's go 32nd of the 2nd astral moon, which corresponds to March 31st. That'll be the birthday of our character. We'll confirm that. And then we have to pick a god, which is all very RPG. So these basically are associated with the months as well. So there's 12 gods, and each one, as you can see, it mentions in most of the descriptions that they correspond. So, yeah, so the one I usually choose for the character we're going to create, I was going to choose Oshon because he's the wanderer. And I like the idea that our character is a wanderer, a vagrant. So that will be that. And now we get to choose what kind of character we are. So I'll pop this down and you have a look here. So these are the classes in the game, and the way this game works is there's actually more than just these classes. There's a lot of classes you can get access to later, and certain things that become classes as time goes on. So we have Disciples of War are basically the physical damage class. So Gladiator is the two-hander type class. And you see down here it shows you where you start too, which is Uldar for Gladiator. Pugilist also starts in Uldar. And then you have Marauder, which is the... hang on. A Gladiator is the one-hander specialist, Marauder's the two-hander specialist. See, we get the huge scary axe. Have the Lancer, which is the spear user. And we have the Archer, which is, of course, the bow user. I feel like Archer is where we're going to go with this. There's also the Disciples of Magic, Conjurer, which is... well, it pretty much says there, yeah. I haven't actually played the Conjurer. I've only played a few of these classes. I've played the Thaumaturge. Thaumaturgy is really fun. In this game, actually. It's basically the mage class, but it has this really unique sort of element flipping type of effect. which is really cool. One thing I haven't played is the Arcanist, which I should try at some point as well. And as you can see, they start in Gridania Uldar or Limsa Laminza there. I was considering starting off as an archer, which means starting in Gridania for this particular character. That was kind of what I've pushed her towards as well. I'm not going to do an Arcanist yet, so we'll go archer for this particular character. And oh yeah, and you can see the job clothes as well. This gives you an idea of how crazy the uniforms actually are. So this is what they look like based on the gear here. I think is sort of mid to end game gear that it's showing off what you can end up looking like. So yeah, archer, disciples of magic. So you have the conjurer, which is very much white mage, thaumaturge, which is very much black mage, and arcanist, which is very much the I think it's called time mage in some of the Final Fantasy games. There's another name for it too. Red mage would be the other one, obviously, even though it's not red. But yeah, that kind of thing. But we're going to be an archer, because archer is actually the class I've played the most and the one I know probably the best. And we're going to do that. So that is our class. And now we have to pick a world. I've been playing on, and I can't choose it. Okay, we're not going to be able to play on the world I wanted to play on, so it's going to have to be Famfrit, Diablos, or Malboro. We'll just go with that one because that's the one it gave us. So we'll confirm that. And now I have to think of a name. So I've been giving all my characters a family name, which is a family name I came up with all the way back in the Guild Wars days. Was where I got that name from. I wanted something that sounded vaguely Japanese-ish at the time, and it's worked out well because it means that everything is a unique name. And in a game like this where you have the forename and the surname, that's worked out really well. Just trying to think whether I should use one of my World of Warcraft character names or something a bit different. What do I got? What do I got as a name? Or maybe I could think of something. I know what I'm going to do, actually. I remember. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay. So that's the name of the very first character I ever created in an MMO many, many years ago. When I first started playing Guild Wars. Begin a new game with this character? Yeah, sure. We'll get a nice cutscene too. So there'll be a load and a cutscene. And then we'll be into it. So we've just got to wait for this. Don't think I skipped the intro cutscene. We'll find out after this loading screen completes. Which is taking a very long time. I suppose because it's got to load in a new character and it's got to load some environment stuff. Here we go. So, talking about this particular cutscene, there's a lot that happens here. I'm just going to talk over the top of a fair bit of it because there isn't huge amounts of dialogue. But basically, this sort of... Your character is special because, of course, you are, because you're the person playing a character in a Final Fantasy game. And you have this weird dream, basically. No, you know what? She came out. She looks alright. We're doing okay. Oh, and by the way, we are using the Japanese audio. There is English audio in this game, but I have it set to Japanese because I'm weird. Right, well, that all happened. See, it's just an introductory cutscene to let you know that that there are important events going on and you are a part of much larger machinations. And now we get one of the unvoiced cutscenes, of which there are many in this game. So, I'll leave the dialogues up a little bit, just so that everyone's got time to read them. Also, can I just point out how freaking weird the unvoiced cutscenes are in this game? Like, there are mouth movements and everything. Everyone talks, but there's no voice. Which I think is really, really strange. So yeah. Also, it doesn't matter, oh, that's right, that's how this one plays out. So, the Moogles only appear in this version of this cutscene. There are 3 different versions of this cutscene, one for each of the 3 starting areas. And they play out slightly differently, but they all feature the same characters, which is interesting. But of course, it wouldn't be Final Fantasy without the Moogles. We're special because we can see them. And these 2 people who look vaguely important, and we may or may not encounter them again later. Have I chanced to witness anything suspicious, Kupo? Nope. I just got here. Oh cool, Drunk Moogle. The fur texture on the Moogle's pretty cool, actually. Visually, this game looks fantastic. Honestly, like, despite the fact it's, I guess the graphics engine's probably about 6 years old now. It looks really strong. Oh god, there's a whole army of them. But yeah, visually this game has held up pretty well. Like, the textures are a bit low res, but one thing this game has that has always impressed me ever since I first encountered it is that it uses a lot of dynamic lighting effects, which is really interesting for a game of sort of this age and this era. Because it does kind of predate the more modern sort of dynamic lighting that new games have. Yeah, let's keep this guy company till we get there. So this part of the cutscene plays out pretty much exactly the same here as it does in the Ul'dah and Limsa Lominsa versions, but this part also has the Kupo thing, and there's a different event that happens at the start that leads into this. So, for example, when you're coming into Ul'dah, you get attacked by, or you get held up by the local authorities, who then get attacked by a gang of, I've forgotten the name of them, lizard people race, actual lizard people. And so you get attacked by that. So yeah. Ain't no secret that adventuring's a risky business. Of course not. Hey, I clicked the mouse button there. What first attracted us to adventuring? To gain power, to win glory, to amass a fortune, or ellipses? I always like the idea that the Makotes come here to, like, just get rich, like, that for whatever reason they're weirdly money obsessed, but yeah, we'll amass a fortune. She's lived her poor Makote life, wants to be rich. I like the idea too, especially if you choose the vagrant, the god of vagrancy. That's what you're looking for, is to get money. And you do basically function as a mercenary in the game, so it seems like the best option in the game, so... Not sure if the microphone's picking this up, but it's getting quite rainy out my window right now, so if there is a little bit of background noise, it sounds a bit like static, it's probably the rain. Ain't no profit in being dead, and that's a fact. That is indeed a fact. You can't make money if you're dead. Here we go. Wood Whalers. This also happens in the Uldar version. I just want to point out something with this carriage that we're in. It has no wheels. It's actually held up by like 2 floating balloons, so it actually hovers off the ground, which is an interesting application of technology. I could use that arrow, being an archer and all. Is this our first trip to Grenania? It doesn't matter if you say yes or no here, because it'll give you the tour anyway, so let's say yes. Literally all that changes is what he says here. And yeah, he still explains what Grenania is. Lies slap bang in the middle of the Black Shroud, the biggest, lushest forest in all of Eorzea. I think it's pronounced Eorzea. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Though it ain't near as lush as it used to be, saying that, let me read this properly. Not since the Calamity laid half of it to waste. The destruction prompted a herd of new nasties to move in, and gave the Ixal unneeded encouragement. Birdman raids have become a daily occurrence. Now you sort of know why I generally don't read dialogue boxes when I do these videos. I'll try. I will try. Because in this game it's probably going to actually matter at various points. So I may not read everything, but I probably will read a fair bit. Anyway, at long last. Behold Grenania, the forest nation blessed by the elementals. And I'm not going to do voices, because I cannot do voices. If you want that, go watch like Game Grumps.
この地を領する都市国家グリダニアは森の都と謳われる誉れ高き古都である。巨大な木造建築物と無数の水車によって形成された街並みは国営の森の木々に抱かれ守られているという。0歳から5年、復興に向けて動き出したこの都市に、今一人の冒険者が訪れようとしている。今はまだ己の運命を知らぬ者。
He's talking about us. And here's where we part ways, lass. I'm off to the markets to deliver me wares, then it's back to the high road for me. Here, I want you to have this, by way of thanks for keeping me company. I really like this, actually. You never did tell me... You never did tell me your name, did you? Well, here's an idea. Become the sort of storied personage I can brag about having met, and I'll consider us square. I really like that way of doing it. Like, he doesn't want to know your name until you're famous.
神々に愛されし地、エオルゼアの歴史に名を残す者。この冒険者の長き旅は、森の都、グリダニアから始まる。
And there we are, Final Fantasy XIV. So, I think once we get in here, there's a very short cutscene here, I think. And once we actually finish this, I will actually leave the video there. So, and we'll come back, because I probably am going to do more now that I've got this far. We'll come back. I really like this sort of walking into the city. This happens again with all of them, where you do this approach to the city and it shows it off as the newfound traveller and that kind of thing. And I really love the way this game puts your character front and centre of what's happening. You there. Yes, you. Oh, hello. Your face is not known to me. Newly come to the city, no doubt. I am... What the hell? I am Bertinant, a wood whaler of Gridania. Sorry, I got hung up on the name there. It is my duty to protect our nation from her enemies while welcoming those who may yet prove her friends. Let us see which you are. Well then. And one thing you got to see there is just how expressive the characters in this game can be. So yeah, welcome to Gridania, a vibrant forest nation cradled in the bosom of nature. This is the other reason I don't read. Please select the control scheme you wish to use. Ah, that's right, because this game can be played with both keyboard and gamepad, because it has console versions. We are playing on PC, so obviously we'll choose the PC version. I'm going to disable the active help windows, because I don't need them. And we're going to close that. We're going to do that. And then we're going to close this. This is annoying. This is a new thing. And it's annoying. We're going to close that. And we're going to leave it here. So we'll find out what Bertinant wants in the next video, if I get around to making more than one video, which I probably will. But yeah, that's Final Fantasy XIV. That's the introduction, character creation, all that good stuff. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.